G'day everyone, welcome to your weekly dose of the Octane Online Racing Legends series. This is going to be Tier 1, a short, sharp burst of your favourite content this week. Two 25% races of Tier 1 quality. My name is Jamie Conboy and joined tonight by Jacob Weatherburn and Tom Maloney. Hello to you, sirs.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm well because I'm not a Sydney supporter. How are you, Tom Maloney?
I am also well because I'm not a Sydney supporter.
Do we know any Sydney supporters, Tom Maloney? Are you aware of any Sydney supporters in here?
Only there's one that I know with the initials JW. I
Oh no.
don't know if you know anyone with the initials JW.
Oh no, I do know one person, Jacob Weatherburn. Do you know anyone with the initials JW?
Let's just move on from this topic, please.
Oh no.
It's a touchy subject. I think I turned the game off after 3 quarters.
Surprised you lasted that long, mate. No,
Yeah, me too.
commiserations.
Let's be fair. It was over after the first 10 minutes.
It got ugly really quickly.
82
And
points in a grand final. It's one that you're going to want to forget very quickly.
so I thought coming into it, it would be a bit of a 50 versus 50 type scenario with both teams being the best defenses in the league, but your defense just didn't show up and Geelong, and as you said, it got ugly really quickly. So happy to move away from that one and get into some Octane Online Racing Legend Series content because that's what I'm here for. We are at the halfway point of the season and we've made it all the way through to Suzuka tonight. As I said earlier, two 25% races with the second race having a reverse grid of the top 10 from the first race. We've had Tier 3 and Tier 2 run tonight. A couple of good results. Fan favourite Gerald Chu getting the win in Tier 3 race 2. And a really nice handy bag of points for the McLaren team in Tier 2. So a bit of a shake-up of the tables in Tier 3 and Tier 2. We'll cover off those next week when we head off to Singapore. Looking forward to Singapore, by the way. Can you call yourselves back to the last time we went to Singapore? The content there, goodness gracious. But we'll save that for next week. Tonight, Tier 1, full grid of 20 cars. Zekai Chu and Zachary Smith, your championship leaders. Zachary Smith just getting a nice little buffer now after Zekai Chu had one to forget last week. The first time we've seen the two Zs separated by more than 3 or 4 positions. Zachary Smith taking out the win at Miami and Zekai Chu finishing in P10. So that has Zachary Smith at the top of the table at the moment, and he's taken about a 60-point lead, lads.
Nice place to be.
He's moving away. Him and Zekai were just neck and neck for the first 5, 6, 7 rounds. So I think Zach will be very happy. He's got a little bit of a buffer back to second place now.
Just a little bit of breathing room for the great Zachary Smith in a season where they haven't, as I said, haven't been separated by any more than 2 or 3 positions the whole time. You would hope that one bad result doesn't ruin any chance that Zekai Chu's got, but with Zachary Smith being so consistent, it's going to take a pretty good effort to get those 60 points back. So we'll see if he can get started on that tonight.
Nick Randell in chat saying race 1 is dry to wet. So that could add some spice around here if we get some little last minute rain.
Oh boy.
Yeah, tier 3 and Tier 2 were both bone dry, so some wet running will always make things very, very interesting, especially if the weather's moving around, because strategy is always an exciting thing to have.
John Sneakers asking how T3's start was today, Tom Maloney. Any reason for that? I might have missed that.
Yeah, my race start in race 2 was I was in trouble within 20 meters, so we'll move on from that, much like Sydney.
Much like we're moving on from Sydney. Okay. Not good then. Jeremy Washington, one of my very favourite Howards, and is the loudest of the Howards. Coming across to start his flying lap now. Looks to be the first car on track who's going to set the stick up, although Alex Bowen looks to be out there as well. The 2 Alpine drivers quick out the blocks tonight. Low 29s were the Tier 2 and Tier 3 pace, so I can't remember. I don't recall seeing any 28s, but there's a couple who got really close, so I think we're definitely in the 28s here for Tier 1. How low into the 28s we go is up for discussion.
just about to ask that question. What sort of lap times are we looking around here? I wasn't sure whether a 27 might have been doable or not. I mean, if anyone's going to do it, these tier 1 guys probably are.
Daniel Lambert was the
very
quickest
fast in time trial.
Yeah, 27.
Very.
Alien pace. I'm not sure. Well, we've got aliens, so why not?
Let's make it happen. Go, boys. Do it.
Yeah, get in there. Get some. It is dry qualifying, which I don't think we got last week at Miami for Tier 1. So they didn't get to show off. Never mind, another tier qualified in the wet last week.
Tier 3.
Okay.
Tier 2 pole was a 29.2 according to Grandel, so maybe a mid to low 28 maybe.
I want to have a stab at it. I want to play around with it. I want to say 28.3. I reckon we'll go low. 29.6, the first one on the board from Alexis Bowen. Jeremy Washington with a 29.4. So reserved bankers coming in so far from the two Alpine drivers. Yeah, I want to say 28. I want to say 28. Well, I wanted to say 28.3. Now I'm not so confident. Brian Tan, hello. Tier 2 mid-season champion comes in with a 29.3. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. 28.3, boys.
28.6.
28.5.
Daniel Lambert in with a really good shout tonight. Saw him practicing earlier this week. Bang, there he goes up at the top with a 29.2. Jordan Wong just behind him. 29.252 for Jordan Wong as he finds himself in a P2 just behind Daniel Lambert. Caleb van der Reyden, Mr. Consistent, 29.549, 1,000th of a second behind Jaden Chia. Lots of time starting it.
Zico Chu just dropped himself into P5 there with a 29.4, so it's 3 drivers in the 29.4s now.
Championship leader on screen now, coming through the hairpin. One of the last drivers to post a lap. Don't have any delta here as he comes through Spoon. What a great corner that. Tricky bugger of a corner too, Spoon. In fact, the whole circuit seems to be tricky based on what we saw in Tier 3 and Tier 2. It's even more slippery than Miami. At least early on. I'm not sure if the track's evolved or what, but there was a lot of drivers struggling with grip through Tier 3 and Tier 2. So Suzuka used to be known for its very deadly curbs. I don't think that's as much of a thing anymore, but it's still very slippery. Zachary Smith with a 29.3. No 28s as bankers. I am surprised by that. Maybe we're not going to get as low into the 28s as I thought we would.
Zachary Smith took the entire curb through 130R and a little bit of grass, I think. So the curbs mustn't be too deadly around here anymore.
Oh, they're still pretty deadly in the S's, unfortunately.
Yeah, the one up the top of Dunlop, I think, is still pretty gnarly. But other than that, as you said, Jacob, not as bad as they were. But there still seems to be a lack of grip in some of the low speed stuff. So haven't seen any spins so far from Tier 1. They're looking nice and clean here so far. Jerry Can posted 30.1.
I think a lot of that sort of low grip stuff is because you try and run as low wing as possible for the two really long straights. So you end up sort of tiptoeing on the limit of sort of aero grip.
Did Jared Ellis have a little bit of a moment back there? The Haas looked to be going very, very slowly.
He's just warming his tyres.
And he posted a 139.5 so far, so expect to see a huge improvement. Oh, who's that? Jaden Chia's around.
Yeah, Jared had a little bit of a whoopsie too, so there's a couple of spins that have occurred now that I've said there wasn't any.
Speaking of commentator curse, I think, Jacob, you can stop saying names now.
No, I think the curses might be moving on to JC tonight.
No, that's fine. We reset each week, so it's not Jacob Curse Weatherburn this week, and until it is, but they get to reset every week. But as Jacob said, the mantle might be moving along towards my direction tonight by the sound of it. Kyle Jackson looking really solid here. season, but it was really good in this Ferrari car. Jackson had a really good season. He's always out lap, he's been fine.
Octane looks to be on a fly here. No, 2 minutes 15, so maybe an outlap.
Yeah, outlap. Here we go. We should be flat through turn 1. Absolutely. Nice.
Very nice looking start for lap. Investors are so tricky to get right. If you miss the entry to the first one, you can basically stuff through a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a beautiful set of corners. As you said, you miss...
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Round and
You're
round
on.
we go.
You're on, JC.
I mean, there wasn't...
We're calling that yours. That's
Okay.
yours.
All right. She'll recover. She's got pace here, Alex Bowen, so I would expect her to have a good race tonight, regardless of that little mishap so far. First, another good adaptation of the initials JC from you, John. Just cutting, I think, was another one that came through a couple of weeks. I can't remember why I was cutting corners. Well, I think it probably was. Totally awesome. Nathan Monks, 30.2 so far.
2.5 tenths up through the first sector.
Nice. So that's a 29.
Hopefully he can drop it into the mid-29 somewhere if he just keeps his lap together.
Looked good through the hairpin. Nice little short shift in the third really early on, so he knew that he had the rotation to get around the corner as soon as he dove into the camber there and managed the short shift. 6th through Spoon, 5th on the exit. Nice. Clearly carrying a lot of speed through Spoon there if he's going in 6th. A lot of drivers do 5th, 4th there. So confident in the car, confident in the setup. 30R obviously flat. It looked like he had a tiny little chicken lift there though. I'm not sure about whether I spotted that. He did, didn't he?
I think he had a lift. 29.1 from Kyle Jackson.
Lines will continue to fall. Let's see how Totally Awesome goes. 29.6, so he did find 6 tenths on that lap and put himself in a P12.
So we're getting close to the 28s now. There's one right as we say it. 28.8 from Zekai Chu.
Very nice lap, Zekai. So there's your first 28.
There's another one.
There's Jordan Wong, follows it up.
Nice. Good pace, Tier 1. Looking good. It's going to be an exciting night because, as I said, we've only got the two 25% races, so we're just going to condense all our curses into this very small 40-minute block we've got for you tonight. All the action, all the content, all the spins, all the passes, all the overtakes, they're all coming at you in the next 40 minutes, especially in Race 2. Race 2 tends to be really exciting for these reverse grid races.
Zachary Smith for 29 flat, so only 2 drivers to dip into the 28 so far. So maybe we're a bit ambitious with how low we think we're going to get in these 28s.
I am most surprised by this. Based on, as I said, the times that I saw in practice early this week, of which, you know, a lot of these Tier 1 drivers were involved, I'm surprised that we haven't seen lower times yet. When everyone uses GP mode to practice in, so it's not like it's the difference between, which is extreme, the difference between time trial and GP mode, the grip and the times you can get out of it is really extreme. So, yeah, I don't know if they're just not going to improve until the very last stint, potentially. I'm not sure. Not to say that they're not going quickly, by the way. Goodness me, I'd be very happy if I could break into a 29 at all. They're in 28, so I'm not saying they're going slowly.
Yeah, this 28.8 pace is top 1,000 in the world in time trial. So
yeah.
This is rapid.
Not saying it's slow by any means.
Yeah, I'd be happy with anything under a 130 if I'm honest.
But no, I'm just sorry that I led you down the wrong path there by taking us so low.
Don't end it, Dan.
It's up just a little bit wide through there.
Didn't invalidate.
That's what I was just looking at. Didn't invalidate his lap, so it couldn't have been too wide. That's
That ain't it.
definitely too wide.
That ain't it.
Can't park there.
How's Gridjack's going? He's got his stream going. Go and check out his stream on Twitch. Currently P11, but if he finds 3/10, he's P5. So not a lot of work to do. But that's the same story for everyone else too. Again, Tier 1 so tightly packed.
Jerry Can's just coming round to finish his lap, it looks like.
Most of the drivers are in the pits or on their out laps, so track's a little bit quiet at the moment. They all get ready for this last ditch attempt.
I'm such a huge fan of this track. I don't know about you boys, but this is top 3 favourite tracks for me. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm only slightly disappointed that we didn't get you to bring you all 3 tiers tonight.
Yeah, I agree. It's a properly fun track. You definitely know when you've got a lap right, which is, you know, you can't really say that for most tracks. You definitely know if you've got a lap right here.
Jaden Chair finds a 10th somehow on what I think was an outlap because there's no battery being used by Jaden. So, interesting. Pretty sure this is a lap now, although this battery's still not being used by Jaden Chair, so I'm not sure. It's an invalidated lap. Yeah, okay, might have invalidated turn 1. But yeah, the timing board said that Jaden Chair found a 10th and a half on the last lap, which I thought was an outlap, so now I'm not sure what's going on.
Wouldn't be another bug in the in this game, would it?
Can't believe it, surely not.
Ethan in chat saying the one race he wins is not streamed.
We're sorry, Ethan.
Congratulations on the win, mate. First and foremost.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did the same thing to fan favourite Gerald Chew. Unfortunately, he snagged his first win tonight too, and we didn't stream that for him. So, now look, there's been good stories all through tonight, actually, and again, we're sorry and disappointed, but that will hopefully resolve. I don't want to guarantee anything before next week, but there's a very, 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 very high chance we return to full schedule as of next week. But you can thank the great Neil Alexander for stepping in tonight, still sweaty from his races. He has jumped from one PC to another and is bringing you Tier 1 tonight, so go and give him a bit of a hug in chat. But as I said, next week, very, very high chance that we are back in full service mode. And hopefully bringing you more debut victories. Yeah, congratulations to you, Ethan, and to you, Gerald Chew, if you're listening.
Nice little toe there for Mohammed.
Coming to the final minute of qualifying. Can anyone snatch pole off Zekai Chu? Currently set at a 28.8. Oh, Mohammed Irfan loses the rear a bit there on the exit. Still improves by 0.2. Zekai looking to improve on his 28.8. Gathers it up quite quickly. Let's see if he is absolutely flat through 130R here. Yes, of course. Hits the braking marker, gets it turned in quite nicely. Straight back on the throttle. Is he going to improve? not quite, so that's him done. Checkered flag is out.
Caleb up to 4th. Nicely done, mate. 29 flat.
Been strong all season. Caleb Van Der Eyden, that's a very good time. 29 flat.
Yeah, Jordan Wong's not on a lap here. He's just gonna sit there for P2. Zachary Smith is probably the only one left out there that can beat that 28.8, I believe. He's 3.5 seconds down, so it's not going to be him either.
I don't know, Daniel Lambert, I think, is capable. Daniel's one of the ones I saw in the very low to mid 28s this week. I don't know if he's just left his best for last, the Mercedes driver. My 10, very impressive up there in P8 at the moment with a very low 29 as well. Here we go. Sector 3 yellow flag won't stop Daniel from punching it out of the last chicane here and heading on down to the line. Let's see what sort of improvement he's got. It is pole position, if you don't mind, from Daniel Lambert with a 28.747. That is quick.
There with his Mercedes teammate, 1 and 2.
This could be a night for the Mercedes team. They're P2 in the constructors at the moment. They lost 100 points to Aston Martin last week. But Aston Martin 4 and 9 tonight. Mercedes 1-2 on your grid for Tier 1. Daniel Lambert leaving it to the last moment and putting in an absolute banger. A 28.747. We'll see him starting from the very front of your Tier 1 grid, and his Mercedes teammate Zikai Chu less than a 10th behind with a 28.841. So congratulations to the Mercedes team. Jordan Wong, Zachary Smith 3 and 4 on the second row. Mr. Consistent in P5, Kyle Jackson, Mitch Weatherburn, Brian Tan, Jaden Chia, and Jerry Can round out the top 10. And as we said, full grid of 20 tonight here in Tier 1. A couple of our Tier 2 legends stepping up to fill in the gaps that we've got there at the bottom. So they will start from the back, but they're well and truly entitled to have a crack at these Tier 1 fellas and see what they can do. And if they finish inside the top 10, as we said, that'll be reversed. And we'll head off to race 2 with P10 starting in P1. So looking forward to getting this one underway. Oh my God.
Moisture. There's moisture.
Golly, golly, gosh.
Moist.
Put some umbrellas up, you steward, your marshals.
Nah, tough it out. It's Japan. It's probably like the coldest rain ever, too.
This is what you want.
This track is very poor in the wet, according to Diabols. Very understeery and slippery.
There'll be a few setup changes being made now, I can imagine. Depending on how long it's going to stay wet for. Only being a 25%, I'd be very surprised to see it dry out during the race.
Yep, and they get to completely change their setup for race 2. Oh, well, I'm pretty sure that's the case, that they're not locked into the same
They
setup.
absolutely can.
So therefore, yeah, why not risk it for the biscuit? Lift the front right eye a little bit and sort of make it a bit more stable through the puddles, and
chuck some wang on.
Might not be a bad shout at all.
What have we got? 13 laps? Is that 25%er?
Yes, 13.
Yep.
The worst track so far. Oh, speaking of the worst, hello, Kitty. What do you mean the worst track so far? Oh, we haven't gone to Silverstone yet. What do you mean? This is like top 3 track style bowls. What are you doing?
In the wet.
Oh.
That's a great track in the wet.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, They're all good tracks in the wet. There's no table of good
Actually,
to
no,
bad in the wet.
Miami's not good in the wet.
Wet is good. The end. Oh, is he really? Where does he fit in? Around about tier 2, tier 3? Does he get on the stream? That's what we want. Tier 18. Slander. Diabol's is in tier 2. He races at 6:30, I want to say.
Correct.
Probably around about there somewhere.
Thought you'd know that by now, mate.
Oh, mate, my memory's hopeless, bro. I got to write all this shit down. I actually have a pin board that I bought for this literal series, and I've stuck absolutely nothing on it. I told the wife, go out and get a cork board. You know the cork board? You stick pins in it, and you can stick stuff on it. I've got it here, above my monitor, right in front of me. And I was going to have, team profiles and driver profiles and things that I should be remembering, like the season schedule, for example. And I've stuck absolutely nothing on it. My daughter stuck a rainbow on it, and that's all it's got.
I'm going to go full David Croft on it.
Well, no, honestly, I should, and I'm the thought's there. I'm lazy. The memory of a senile goldfish. Welcome to you, Ali Simon. Good to see you in chat. Regardless of whether you're dissing me or not, I'm just glad to have you here. Looking forward to your puns over the next half an hour.
Smite them bots.
And bot smiting, of course. Where are the bots? I've missed the bots over the last couple of weeks. They've been a bit quiet, the bots.
I think they've all been called to fight in Ukraine.
So over there, man, and drones, you reckon? We probably shouldn't laugh at that. I don't even know. Is that? Oh, we're all going to hell. Anyway, before that, let's get a very moist Suzuka underway. 13 laps of the very highest quality down into turn 1. This is going to be interesting as the red lights start to form up. When they disappear, we will be underway. It is a very nice start from Zikai Chu, it looks like, on the inside. In fact, Daniel Lambert's had a shocker of a start. He's not got off the line at all. Jordan Wong has said, thank you very much. Pops himself into P2. And 2 by 2 they go into turn 1. It looked pretty clean through there, through the midfield, the backfield. Daniel Lambert's getting absolutely monstered on this first lap. He's had a really poor start. The man who put it on pole is continuing to fall back through the field as he missed just one of the apexes in the S's. And as Jacob said, once you miss one, you're missing a handful of them. And the cars just sort of snuck themselves up the inside and took his position. So back to P13 from pole position for Daniel Lambert. That's not the start he was after. Alexis Bowen here in P15. And another driver who's going to want to improve over the next 13 laps, but of course they've also got a chance to make P10. That's the golden ticket for everyone outside and in that midfield. P10 is where you want to be as they come into the hairpin for the first time. The driver's getting a little bit out of shape through there, but they managed to sneak through court. I just watched the car disappear in front of me. What has happened there? Was I the only person? Am I hallucinating? I just saw a car disappear from existence, and yet all 20 cars still connected and facing the right way, and there's no yellow flag. So perhaps I was hallucinating. Someone else take over. Jesus Christ.
Well, Jared Ellis has fallen quite a way back off the pack, so maybe he had a little bit of a moment.
Good start for Zach Smith right after P3. Maybe he was running a wet setup, that's why he was sort of a bit off the pace in quali.
The Diabol's is saying that Jared Ellis is teleporting all over the place. Lambert's really going to have to get a move on. She said if he can just get back up into P10, that is the golden ticket for race 2.
Pole position in both races. That's an achievement.
Garrett's game is freezing. He's teleporting. Goodness gracious. Can that man get any bloody luck? Goodness gracious. I don't know. Anyway. Unlucky for Avids back there in P20 at the moment. Still on track though, still connected, so hopefully he gets that stuff sorted out and can have another crack at getting a result out of potentially still this one. Hey, it's a very wet track, and even though it's only 13 laps, anything can happen. Cheeky safety car or a bit of dry weather towards the end, who knows?
Smith's having a look up the inside. He's going to just get it pulled up. Looks like he's going to manage to get the move done. Jordan Wong's going to try and hang on the inside there. He eventually concedes the position. Zachary Smith up to P2 now. And the two Zs right next to each other once again.
Normal service has been resumed.
Up here, this is Brian Tan and Jaden Chia doing battle around Spoon.
What are track limits like around here?
They're pretty harsh, but you can also, it's pretty easy to just lift off, and it's a bit like ACC. Just lift off and the game gets abandoned.
Oh, they were going to go side by side through 130R there, but they thought better of it. Jaden Chia was the bigger man and backed out of it. Brian Tan, not to say he's not a big man himself, but he's happy to keep P11 out of that one. That could have got very deadly. We've seen people go through 130R side by side in the past, but I think that was not the way to go about it that time, and they did the right thing. And in fact, Jaden Chia gets a little bit of good juju and takes P11 from Brian Tan through the turn 1 complex, so a little bit of good karma there for Jaden doing the right thing through 130R.
Yeah, very nicely done there. Brian Tan just went in a little deep into turn 1. Got caught out by the wet conditions. They're all keeping it relatively safe at the moment, just single file for most of it.
Kenneth Ang are very strong at this track, did very nicely from tier 2. I think finished in P2 in race 2, not sure he went in race 1, but I'm sure it was strong, and he was qualifying well as well. So Kenneth, very strong here. Very capable of mixing it with the tier 1 fellas, I would suggest. Kenneth Ang, currently in P15, having started from the back of the field with the other tier 2 boys. Yellow flag in sector 2, looks like Mohammed Afan's going around. But looks to have all his wing and bits and pieces in place, so he'll play on. And that gives Jared Ellis someone to aspire to catch. Now only 3 seconds off the back of the pack is Jared Ellis. Jordan Wong wants P2 back. If Zachary Smith will be so kind as to oblige, which I don't think he will be. Zekai Chu still putting in purple laps. And Brian Tan is the first to grab a 3-second penalty, Jacob Weatherburn. So clearly the track limits do exist in places. Not sure whether they're a little bit different in the wet. Jaden Chia.
4 laps.
Oh, it's wide there from Nando. He's not ready to give this one up though.
Probably not the place you want to be going side by side, but he gets the position back. Big Jake's probably thought better of it. He'll just try to line him up again. Hasn't really been able to, I was going to say that has a look at Daniel Lambert, not quite there. These wet conditions are just, everyone starts to second guess whether to stick the car here and there, and it sort of just becomes a bit of a single file race.
Yeah, it's good and bad because obviously we love side-by-side battling, but that always tends to be carnage, and no one likes carnage. Well, I mean, we kind of do, but we shouldn't. We feel bad for liking carnage. But no, I like it when they make good decisions, and better decisions seem to come out of wet racing. So whilst it might not be as exciting to watch, I'm wide again from Nando. He's struggling to keep that Red Bull in the line. Zekai Chu purple again, improving every lap is Zekai Chu.
Max Smith's really starting to fall off the back of Z.
And Jordan Wong still only 2/10 behind Zachary too, so the pace up the front from Zekai Chu clearly really quick.
I don't know if Zach had a little bit of a moment there or something, but I think he lost over a second on that lap. Reeled in a few tenths through sector 1. In the back here we've got 2 Alfa Romeo boys, P17 and P18.
Momo carrying a bit of wing damage according to Diabol, so he won't be making up too many spots from P18 if he's got to carry that around for the next 8 laps. Alexis Bowen is looking pretty likely here behind Daniel Lambert, who unfortunately, after that poor start, has gone nowhere forward, so hasn't been able to make up any of those positions, even though he's clearly really quick here, Daniel Lambert. Which means Alex Bowen, just behind Daniel, is threatening and putting pressure on Daniel, but he's here in a train of cars. And without DRS assistance... Ooh,
Safety car.
Virtual safety car.
Someone had an oopsie, I think, and just left some wing sprawled across the track. There's no, Nick
Randell's
Randell's missing a couple of parts and pieces.
So that is both Alfa Romeos with some wing damage. Nick Randell's looking to be pretty significant. He'll have to crawl around to the pit lane and get that sorted out. Of course, with no mandatory stops required when the intermediates are out, it is a surefire way to cost yourself 20-30 seconds. These guys still under VSC. Look like they're going pretty quickly, so the VSC not hampering them too much.
Anyone going to mess up that delta and get that coveted drive-through penalty?
I was just saying that, Diabols. Diabols is saying they've got a 13-second delta. They're not even being asked to slow down, essentially.
Masters of Code strikes again.
What are we watching? I thought they were going quick. I was like, Jesus, they're hammering it through turn one. I thought the bug was that the VSC was, like, the track map was still yellow. I thought it was genuinely like, we're not under VSC anymore. These boys think they're racing.
You watch this 13-second delta will bloody disappear 1 second before the VSC goes green.
It'll turn into negative 5 seconds very, very quickly.
Still under VSC too, by the way, so it's a very long VSC.
Green now.
Alright, let's go. No drive-throughs, no penalties. Alright, okay, not too bad then. It just hurts Momo and Nick Randell, the two Alfa Romeos, pitted for what they thought was going to be a nice slow VSC, and everyone's just pissed off on them. Unlucky.
Well, we play on. Zachary Smith's back within 1 second of Zekai Chu. Jordan Wong right on the back of them both.
Yeah, that gap was outside a second, wasn't it? So Zachary Smith's had a really good VSC and managed to claw some of that back.
Got out to 1.9. Jordan Wong with the fastest lap of the race under the VSC. That's how fast they were going.
It was too, wasn't it? That's amazing.
Do you get extra points for that?
Goodness, you should, absolutely.
I think you get a visit to the principal's office, to be honest.
If the game didn't penalise you take it.
That's incredible. Well, there you go. Nice work to George. So these front three absolutely flying along in these conditions.
Alex Bowen passed Daniel Lambert. It's a really rough race for the pole sitter.
So he might be one who's just running a dry setup. Didn't have time to work out what he wanted to do for a wet setup, Daniel Lambert. And yeah, after that poor lap one, he's lost another one. And I wouldn't write off Kenneth Ang having a little dip at him too. But back up the front here, Zekai Chu is under all sorts from Zachary Smith now, who just seems to have found another leg in the last couple of minutes. We were watching him fall off the back of Zekai Chu as he continued to put purple after purple in up front. Jordan Wong was all over the back of him, but now Zachary Smith, as I said, has just stretched his legs a little bit here and has caught right up to the back of Zekai Chu, and they put half a second back to Jordan Wong as well. In fact, Jordan, I think, must have got Spoon wrong because he's just gone from 0.7 to 1.3. That sends him back into the clutches of Kyle Jackson a little bit. But Zachary Smith up here just needs to be patient, really, and stay with the pressure on Zekai Chu. But as we said at the start of the stream, Zekai needs to start banking points in front of Zachary Smith here. So if it's only going to be a 1-2, he definitely wants to be 1.
Back here in P9. Looking to possibly make a move on Jeremy Washington. With all of Tier 1 being so close together in pace, when you don't get DRS, makes it very, very hard for these guys to pass each other, as Zachary Smith looks like he's ready to line up and overtake.
Got one done up into the hairpin already tonight, Zachary Smith, so just look for him to have a little look down the inside here. Jordan Wong was the driver who left the door open last time, Zikaichu does not leave the door open. He moved across nice and early there and defended the inside lines. Good driving from Zikaichu. I think Zachary Smith definitely was lining him up there. He moved over, but Zikai was ready for it. So good defensive driving from Zikai, but Zachary Smith is still right here. Jordan Wong's caught back up again too, though, so I wouldn't be counting him out too soon. In fact, Kyle Jackson has also gained about a second in the last lap, so he wants to join in and make this a four-way battle for the lead if he can.
Almost like Zachary Smith was playing a bit of cat and mouse before the virtual safety car, because it's almost like he's just gone up an extra gear since it went back green, and he's just started applying the pressure. How much is it going to take for Zikai to make a mistake, or is Zachary going to have to force his way past?
Yeah, I don't see Zikai making a mistake. He's one of our strongest drivers. Currently P2 in the championship for a reason. I can't recall him making any sort of real significant error in the first 8 rounds. I'm sure there was 1 or 2, everyone does, but very, very handy driver, Zikaichu. So I think, as you said, Zachary Smith will have to find a way past in the wet with no DRS if he wants to take the win here.
Looks like Zikai is also using very low wing because he pulled out 3/10 just on the main straight. So no DRS, that'll be almost impossible. He'd have to just push his way past in one of the middle sector.
He really bloody pushed his way past out of Degna 2 there. He's all up in Zikai's business, who again defends the inside down into the hairpin and doesn't get the exit. You saw him have a little bit of a squirrel on the way out, and that says Zachary Smith, welcome on through. Jordan Wong also now right behind these two. This is definitely a 3-way battle, and Kyle Jackson almost within a second, so he'll come up quick. Don't worry about him. But Zikai with, as I said, just the tiniest little error coming out of the hairpin. Nothing significant whatsoever, but it was enough for Zachary Smith to get superior traction and make it out of the hairpin first. Jared Ellis is in the wall, my man. Don't know what to do. I don't know how to get that man a result. It's going to come with my pants on next week just for a change, just to see how that mixes anything up for him.
Turn your socks inside out.
All right, I'll put that on the list of things to try. I hadn't thought of that one.
Yeah, Zikai's definitely running a low-wing setup. He's just getting 4/10 down the straight there, but it's really hampering him through the end of Sector 1 and Sector 2.
Kyle Jackson has joined in here now too. He's just been watching this develop in front for the last 10 laps and has been going about his business very quietly in the Ferrari. He's 3 seconds clear of Jerry Cannon, so hasn't really been pressured from behind. He's just been slowly eating into the gaps up the front here. Another yellow. This is another VSC.
Is the Delta going to be right on this one by the pace that these guys are still driving out of, say? They're just going to be flat out into it.
Yeah, they're not slowing down, are they?
VSC Delta is +5, eyeballs the same.
Pit stop completed for Jared Ellis. He's going to come out with a fresh wing, potentially. But yes, whilst we are under VSC, I think the only thing that's going to be stopping these boys from passing each other is the game potentially giving them a penalty, because they are flying along. But this is the battle for P10, by the way. Grid Joke's currently holding on to P10, but Brian Tan, Alexis Bowen, Jaden Chet, they're all thereabouts. So with 3 laps to go, that reverse grid pole still up for grabs.
Oh,
Oh no!
3 of them. Brian Tan, Alexis Bowen, Jaden
Oh,
Chet.
yeah.
5 true penalties.
Well, we're just saying Alexis Bowen and Brian Tam were in the battle for P10. But now they're definitely not in the battle for P10. Daniel Lambert is now in the battle for... Oh, he's got a 3-second pens. That's probably going to hurt him. So that's really good for Grid Jokes, actually, who's right behind Nando here. But essentially, he's got a 5-second gap to Daniel Lambert behind him. And about a car's... Well, he's got a car between himself and Kenneth Ang as well. So Daniel looking really good for reverse grid pole now. Now it's about whether he actually wants reverse grid pole, or does he want to try and pinch P9 from Nando here and say, you know what, P2's just as good as P1. I'll have a crack at Nando. I reckon he might.
Oh, some sadness in Sector 1.
Alex Bowen's just come out of the pits on brand new intermediates.
No, drive
No,
through.
drive-through penalty. There would have been no
Of
tyre
course.
change.
No, thank you.
But possibly pushing a little too hard to try and catch some of that time lost back up.
Oh, no.
Oh, and then the 10
come
second
on,
penalty to rub
Cody's.
salt in the wounds.
She was probably you could see her on the track map. She was letting letting Momo through, one of the Alfa Romeos. So she's probably just doing the right thing. And
It's amazing how many times this season we've seen a driver slap with a 10-second penalty for getting out of the way of a blue flag driver or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Just the distance Chu makes on Zachary Smith in a straight line. And then they get through into Sector 1 here, and Zachary Smith just says, "See you later."
Oh,
Alex.
this is all sorts of. This is pain. This is painful viewing.
Take the camera off her. That's not fair.
My god. Sadness.
Kenneth Eng grabs himself a 3-second penalty. So that's P11 and P12.
Oh, no.
Oh no, the leader.
Ooh, hello.
Zachary Smith is always good for a pen.
On the penultimate lap, if you don't mind, that's pretty big. That is big for the championship. As I said, Zekai's got to finish in front of Zachary Smith, so that'll just about do it. If Zekai can bring this home without any pens, let's chalk that one off the list.
Put a car between them too, because Jordan Wong will move up to P2. Zekai was very wide through there. Alexis Bowen is around again. Jeremy Washington has DNF'd.
What? Both Alpine drivers having all sorts of troubles in the last part of this race. Jeremy's DNF somewhere. Alexis Bowen is struggling to keep it on the road at the moment. Double yellows being waved through Sector 1 and 2. That's one of the Alfa Romeos. I think they're potentially Momo falling back through the field as well. But as we come around onto the final lap now, Zachary Smith is leading the way. Jordan Wong's gone purple again. Jordan is absolutely flying here and might just want to sneak one past Zekai, which would net the victory if they can make that happen, because as we said, Zachary Smith's got a 3-second up ahead.
That's just laps for Mitch Weatherburn.
Fastest lap.
Is that Jeremy?
Both Alpines have retired. Alexis Bowen has retired from the race. So both Alpines are a DNF in race 1 here.
Still 13 laps to go, so they'll get back in the chair. They'll take the reins again. Hopefully their fortunes turn around, just for the sake of Diabols. He's struggling in chat. Zachary Smith, with under 2 laps to go, has grabbed himself 3 seconds worth of penalties for corner cutting. And that has made this the battle for P1. Jordan Wong trying his best to track down Zekai Chu.
Will Kyle Jackson also sneak past him?
I think Cole Jackson may be going to sneak into P3. If you can just hang on here, Zach's penalty is going to knock him all the way down to P4 and hand Zekai Chu the victory. So that's going to be big for the championship.
It's a small step on a very long ladder, but it is a necessary step because he didn't want to fall any further behind. Oh, the big snap coming out of the final chicane for Zekai Chu. He managed to hold it. Goodness me, the scenes if that occurred.
Oh,
Anyway,
Kyle!
Nice
lap to go
work.
past Zach.
Nice. So he does sneak up there into P3 and relegates Zachary Smith to P4, but he also grabs himself the purple lap. So nice work. This is the battle for P10. Nathan Monks looks to have filtered into the reverse grid pole. So all totally awesome fans out there will be very pleased with that.
Oh, into the back there.
Brian Tan, your tier 2 halfway season champion, which just come across and said, oh, I'll have some of the wall. Hope he made it across the line. Yeah, he did. He's got the checker flag. He's fine. Nick Randell and Momo still yet to cross the line. The 2 Alfa Romeos had a race to forget, unfortunately. Both having to come and replace their wings at some point.
Nick Randell takes a purple lap for his own amusement.
Nice. Pinches that from Kyle Jackson. Disappointment for the Ferrari driver there. Momo giving a bit of a squiggle as he comes across as well. And this man, Jared Ellis, he's probably on for pace. He just had, what did he have? Disconnection issues or something. He's jumping all over the place, teleporting, internet, something.
Jeremy saying in chat, anything Alex can do, I can do worse.
Alpine. Kenneth Ang, Codemasters driver of the day from Tier 2. So that's a bloody good effort. Interested to see what he did to deserve that. I didn't catch most of his race, so he must have done something pretty bloody good. We've had a couple of weird sort of driver of the days come from Codemasters in the last couple of weeks. So I don't know whether Kenneth earned that one or not, but he probably did. All power to him. How did he go? P11 from P19. Yeah, that's pretty bloody handy. Nice work, Kenneth. Driver of the day. Zekai Chu is your winner of race 1 here in Tier 1, and he will start from P10. Jordan Wong and Kyle Jackson round out the podium after Zachary Smith is relegated to P4. Jerry Can, Caleb van der Reyden again inside the top 6. Mitch Weatherburn, Danny Wong, Brian Nando Garnetta, and Nathan Monks are the top 10. So Nathan Monks and Brian Nando will start from the front row for the next race. Kenneth Ang, Daniel Lambert, Jad Chia, Muhammad Afan having reasonable races to finish inside the top 14, and then a few sad stories back here. Nick Randall managing to grab the purple lap there at the end, and the two Alpines at the very back of the field, much to the disdain of our man Diebold. So that's race 1 done and dusted for you. Very wet for race 1. I'm hoping we get some dry weather for race 2 because I love Tier 1 when it's dry. But I wouldn't be sad to see it wet again. I don't mind what it is. I'm just happy to be watching Tier 1 tonight. And a very eventful and entertaining race 1 it was.
Yeah, I would love to see some dry running in race 2. Get some DRS happening and see if these guys can make some more overtakes.
So we'll have a very slight delay here, probably I'd say 4 minutes while they reset the grid and get the top 10 sorted out and then reverse them and work their magic. So I'm sure we'll chuck a little tune on for you. You'll have a chance to go and grab yourself a drink, and we'll meet you back here in 5 minutes for race 2 of Tier 1.
G'day, chat. Everyone's fucked off, so I'm gonna just sit here and just talk shit. Something I do very well. How are we? Send in some questions. Any questions you have at all? Feel free to throw them out there. Any questions at all? Absolutely. Any questions you have, send them in and I'll answer them. If you're doing your tax return or you've got an issue with your girlfriend or you've got a shitty neighbour, I'm here to answer your questions and get you sorted. But it's going to be very quick. Got a sport team that you follow that lets you down? I'm here to help. No pants party.
How do you feel about the rugby?
Oh, I don't follow that. The trick to rugby is don't follow it. Why isn't Mitch coming first? Not good enough, not fast enough tonight. Why did my dad leave me? Milk. Milk shortage where you are. You had to go overseas. Next question. I'll adopt you, Keelan. How's that sound? What's the FBT rate on my fuel card? Probably about 2.6%. Actually got no idea what FBT means, but that's what I'm going with. Come on, you got better questions? Let's fire them in. I'll ask my dog, who's disappeared. Never mind. Can you do a cartwheel? Oh, pushing it. I'm pushing it. What the half the grid leave?
I believe Jared is setting up a new lobby. I believe he had to restart his PC.
Fair enough. That's fun. How long is a piece of string? I'd say yes. I had to restart my PC, get another PC. If you had to curse one tier 2 driver, who and why? Oh, that is a beautiful question. So that's throwing me under the bus. Oh, I can't pick. I've let the team down here.
I thought you'd just name yourself, mate. You've had a fair few curses this season.
I'll leave that to you guys. Where the hell? Who's hosting this lobby? Who would I curse in tier 2? Who's at the top step? I'll go Kenneth Hang. Sorry, Kenneth. Too good. What else have we got? Which fossil fuel do you prefer, coal or gas? Let's go with coal. Sounds worse. Why is Russia invading Ukraine? Rabbits. It's all about rabbits. We kept them out of China, but they all went to Russia, so Ukraine is meant to grab them all. If I had to ban one... we had to ban one pizza topping, and what would it be, and why is it pineapple? Yes, is the answer there. That is 100% correct. Is any of this real? Are we living in simulation? Why do my pockets hurt? Nothing is real. Your pockets hurt because you've got a hole in them and you're very touchy-feely.
Why do my pockets hurt? What? What have I come back to? What is this?
What is your favourite milk variant? I'd say cow milk. Does that work? Keep them coming. Keep these questions coming. We're here to solve the world's problems. Oh, yeah. Can I do a cartwheel? No. Shoulders cooked. How many guys will get the Yoda curse this time? Everyone? I don't know if you can curse anymore when he's cursed everyone already.
I think I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've got many more in me.
You've just cursed them again by saying that.
I tried to draw the attention away from your curses, Yoda, but it feels like everyone's pinning this on you now. It feels like it's a rolling curse mobile that's got you as the driver.
Oh, wow, this is a great question. Would you rather punch 1,000 kids in the face or have 1,000 children punch you? Well, I'm going to start throwing haymakers, I reckon.
Healing.
What is your favourite F122 bug? It's the pit entry bug where I can't turn my wheel to get a good entry. So every pit stop I do is 1.5 seconds extra. That's my favourite bug. What's your favourite F1 racing team? It is McLaren. But deep in everyone's heart, it's Manor.
Boo.
Hey, boo.
Who do you follow? You follow Sydney, you don't count. No, I'm joking. Who do you follow in F1? Oh, if you've been let down by Sydney, you'd definitely be Ferrari.
No, I'm a Red Bull man.
Oh, shit.
The best drink of all time.
Oh, of course.
Your heart says otherwise. Oh, no, my
Oh,
chat's gone.
that is very true.
Why is Ricardo doing shit? He's run out of talent 3 years ago. Which sucks, because I actually really like Daniel Ricciardo. Go spectator, Mr. Octane. Done. Any other questions? Any life problems? You've got me for another 30 seconds, I reckon. Best combination of drivers on the current F1 grid would have to be if Mazepin teamed up with on the current grid. Latifi, yeah. Or bring back Jolly and Palmer. My butt cheeks hurt. How to fix ice packs. What does AMG stand for? A mediocre garage. Best combination of drivers in the current... Oh, you've done that one. Any others? 11 seconds. Lube. Yes. Yeah. Well, you got to go the ice pack first. Get it a bit numb. Anyway, that's too much info probably for everyone. Every time I'm on bloody chat, there's lubes mentioned. Who's the best commentator in what aspect? Real world, sim racing, OOR.
Alex Jakes.
Historic. OOR, it's Benderfax. And his massive pauses between sim racing. Everyone's good.
Just going back through the questions here. Keelan Dryberg, you're a menace. If you had to curse one tier 2 driver, who and why? What was the answer to that one? I missed that.
Oh, I picked...
Kenneth Hang.
Sorry, Kenneth, if you watch back. Well, what's your favourite Bender fact? My favourite Bender fact would have to be the measuring time by boiling potatoes. That was something he's whipped out a few times. It looks a lot sunnier now for this race 2.
Yeah, nice and dry.
The Ferris wheel working nicely, as is the drone above. Wait, what? Don't worry, Diabolls. Oh, we're about to start. I'm going to piss off now and leave these 3 legends to commentate race 2 here at Tier 1. Thanks. I hope I've sorted some problems for you guys.
Why is Russia invading Ukraine? What's the FBT rate on my fuel card? What is going on in here?
You disappear for
Going
5
back through
minutes
some
and
of
the
these
place
questions.
implodes.
Can't leave me here, so I'm back. The answer was rabbits for Ukraine. Just, how come it's in Japanese to start when the game's in English?
Oh, it's still in Japanese. That's beautiful. I'm so happy with that. Because I changed the settings. I think we had what do we have? Dutch for 2 or 3 rounds.
You changed the settings. Did you get on my computer?
No, on the Octane Online Racing account, it would be set through the account, would it not?
Yes, you go into the settings for the game and he's just changed the language.
You've changed it in Steam, you twat. That
We've
is
had
top
German,
tier.
We've had Dutch. I think we've had French at some point.
Yeah, we had French for a start, and then we went to Dutch. We've rotated through a couple of languages, but I'm glad that we've got Japanese here in Japan. I cannot translate it, Mr. Curly.
It just says easy into turn 1. And what the hell's going on with the grid here?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm leaving it to it. That looks cursed. Bye.
What? Just dumped it on us. What is going on with Danny?
What is happening?
No, that's Jerry Can. He's been demoted to P5 by the look of it. That is Jerry Can, who's starting inside the Williams of Mitch Weatherburn, who's just been punted into the middle of the road on the start. What have we just witnessed? They got away cleanly, so it's okay. Down into turn 1 we go. I'm not sure whether that's going to get looked at or what's going to happen, but it seems like we got away pretty cleanly after what could have been calamitous. I was expecting one of the cars to do a flip into the pit wall. Anyway, they got through it, and just as we swore in race 1, they've got through cleanly, but there is a yellow flag. It is Nick Randa, and in fact Momo as well, his Alfa Romeo teammate, both Alfa Romeos. I'm not sure whether they sympathy spin or what's happened back there, but they're both at the very back of the field with Jared Ellis as well. It is race 1 all over again.
Poor old Mitch Weatherburn started in P4, had an AlphaTauri start inside him and has fallen all the way back down to P10.
I hope he's not carrying damage that he's picked up from that AlphaTauri's weird old starting position. I'm not sure what happened there. Gordon Wong's up 3 already. He's not wasting any time. Zachary Smith's up 2 as well. And he's watching Caleb van der Reyden and Nando Garneta go about it. Up in the 130R. They're probably going to have a crack at this side by side because they're in the dry. They do. And Caleb got the better of that battle. Sent Nando really wide without touching him, mind you. Nando just got mind punted essentially out the outside of 130R there. So Caleb van der Reyden up into P3. Zachary Smith followed him through. He's in P4. Jordan Wong now grabs P5. Nando falling further back through the field and is now in P6 after originally being in P3 on the extra spoon. So Nando's lost a couple there.
What a start. The yellow flag in sector 1. Who's that around this time? That's Mitch Weatherburn. So he's had a moment through turns 1 and 2. Finds himself back down in P18 now. So not the first couple of laps he would have been hoping for, starting from P4.
Yeah, it's a very rough start for Mitch Weatherburn.
Oh, who's that around? Zachary Smith.
Championship leader Zachary Smith. Ooh, not sure what's happened there. That's out the outside of Degner 1. So if there was a bit of contact potentially, or if he's just made an error himself there. Diebold reckons he spun, which says to me that he's watching his stream and he's just made that error himself, Smithy. So back in a P16 for your championship leader, with Zekai currently in P10. Caleb van der Reyden looking very nice here. In fact, both McLarens inside the top 3. So we already discussed how Neil and Franco had a really good result in race 2 for Tier 2. So the McLaren team doing very nicely here in Suzuka tonight, looking to bag a big chunk of points for the overall Constructors' Championship.
Zach and Mitch, and that, you remember, dry race. We are going to see some pit stops in this race, so they are still in it.
Totally awesome, flying along out the front. He's got a couple of purple laps to his name, which have just been pinched.
It is. Smith is nearly hit pit wall there, I reckon.
Was that Jaden Chia, I think?
Oh,
Smithy's in the pits too.
I
don't know. Double stacked.
But one of those Aston Martins looked like they nearly punted pit wall.
The tricky pit entry here at Suzuka too, because it's downhill and there's a bit of a pump halfway up the lane. Who's that? Daniel Lambert now on the wall, pole sitter. Oh, he's just got no front nose there either, and he's only halfway through the first sector, so it's going to be a very painful lap for Daniel Lambert as he tries to crawl back around to the pits.
Just dry running, just leaving a couple of these faster drivers.
Yeah, really interesting start to this one. As you said, a couple of drivers making errors already. Uncharacteristic errors.
Movers. 2 Alpines started 19 and 20, currently P11 and P13.
Nice. Jeremy popped in and said they were going to do a last to a not as last challenge, so they're doing very nicely on that so far. Gordon Wong has come from, where was he, P9, and is already up here in P4. Just watching Grid Jokes and Caleb van der Reyden go about their business at the moment, but he's looking really promising here, considering how quick he was in race 1. And he's got Zekai Chu and Zachary Smith no way near him, so he's the fastest up here. Just watching grid jokes get done by the DRS burst from Caleb van der Eyden down to turn 1 there.
Takes us into a McLaren 1-2 at the moment. So we have a yellow flag in sector 3. I believe Mitch Weatherburn is around.
That's another
And
one
he's
there in the
not.
pit wall.
Yeah, Mitch is around. He's not going to pit though, I don't believe. He's staying out. He's had a moment out of the chicane there and has decided not to pit. Being on the medium tyre, he kind of has to push through with it because I'm not sure how long the softs will last. We have an Alfa Romeo Momo's round now.
Oh, so many people doing
What
laps
is-
for the crowd.
What is happening?
It's a slippery track. We discussed it at the start of the stream, where a lot of drivers in 3 and 2 had these same sort of issues in dry. And it's just a really tough track to get the power down. You see, that's up here in Tier 1. It's exactly the same.
Caleb within DRS of Nathan. He was.
Jordan Long's more to make a move past grid jokes here down the straight. Get that DRS advantage.
Fair old train behind him there too.
Yeah, I have a feeling grid jokes is going to get mugged here. Caleb van der Eyden goes purple.
So how many can get grid jokes who's got no DRS? There's one, there's two. Jordan Long and Nando both make their way through. Nice and tidy like. So I was saying in chat that the end of lap 8 is when the softs will get close to a puncture range. So around about 7 or 8 laps is how far the softs can really stretch out. So we've got about 8 laps to go. It is a possibility that the mediums can come in for softs here, although potentially not ideal. Zachary Smith has gone the quickest on medium tyres. So he's flying along back there at P18. Hopefully he can scrounge out a few points and close the gap to Zekai. Zekai going along nicely up here. He's the front of the medium runners. Kyle Jackson, P2 of the mediums. Brian Tan, P3 of the mediums. So they're 8, 9 and 10 at the moment. All the soft runners in front of them. Wide there from Kyle Jackson. Not sure if that'll be a warning or not from the coach of God Code.
Two McLarens are very well at P1 and P2 at the moment, but hopefully they're in team speak and can sort out their pitch strategies because they're both on the same tyre. It's one of them, Nathan Monks, dives into the pits now.
Zach Smith really isn't that far sort of behind when you consider he's already had a pit stop.
Interesting to see Nathan Monks is going to come out well in front of him, but he was setting a purple lap before on those mediums. Nathan Monks exits the pits.
And P12, and he got in front of Grid Jokes and Jerry Can as well. So a good pit stop for Nathan Monks. He managed just to hold on to essentially what is P1 there. But as I said, Tom Malone and Zachary Smith not really that far behind P1 now that the pit stops are starting to be completed. He's only 4 or 5 seconds back from Nathan Monks, so still in a pretty strong position, Zachary Smith. Out front, Jordan Wong's gone past Caleb van der Eyden to take P1. Caleb only held it for a lap or so after he took it from his teammate Nathan Monks when he went in the pits.
I would say you probably see these soft runners. Top 4 may end up all pitting this lap. And they sure are. I think follows them in. A bunch of drivers in the pits at the moment.
35 seconds speeding.
Oh,
Oh,
Alex Bowen, DNF. Where has that happened?
Eyeballs, give us some details, please.
More F's in chat. Alex Bowen is at Shocking night.
I don't know if Alexis had a moment going into pits or what, but did not see that car on track anywhere.
Wouldn't be the first car we've seen get the entry to pit lane wrong. There's been a couple that have almost killed themselves there, so it wouldn't be surprising. But yeah, F chat for Alex, who's had a shocker of a night. Daniel Lambert was your pole position holder and now has the purple lap here in race 2 so far. So clearly really quick here, Daniel Lambert. Another one who had a disappointing race 1. Fell back through the field, 13 positions on lap 1. And currently P19 here in this one, so the purple lap not doing much to soothe the pain there.
Still got a couple of drivers yet to make pit stops. Jordan Wong is your effective leader of the race at the moment. It's Jerry Kent. Oh,
No.
that's a huge. What the hell was that? You were never, ever going to make that move stick, Jerry.
Is there any damage from that?
Yeah, that looked pretty ugly, that one.
That's a Jerry Can't moment, that one.
Gary, you can't pass it. That's good from you. It looks like they did escape damage because it's still out on track now.
Yeah, it looks like it might have just been a bit of side-on-side contact, maybe. We've got Jaden Chia around this time.
Oh, who's that wide up there too? Is that Mitch Weatherburn who
Mitch.
looked like he potentially got
He's
Dunlop
so
wrong and then
ready,
around again? So he's struggling with his tyres.
He still
Mitch
hasn't
Weatherburn.
hit it. He needs to get off those mediums. I'm surprised he's still out there, but not a very good race for him.
For you, Franco, congratulations on your racing this evening. You've jumped into Tier 1 at its spiciest. We are watching these Tier 1 pace drivers have all sorts of trouble getting the traction down.
Kyle Jackson and Jeremy Washington in the pits, so Z Kai continues on.
He's got a fairly big gap.
Jeremy Washington doing the last to third challenge very nicely there. So in the pits at the moment, obviously, but has done nicely to have a really good race. And comes out of the pits on nice fresh softs and very low petrol inside the top 10, Jeremy Washington. So doing very nicely here at the moment with a couple of laps to go.
Yeah, Zach Smith's only 1.5 seconds behind this, so that's how much time he's caught up.
Oh, Mitch now grabbed himself a 5-second penalty for speeding in pit lane.
Yeah, plenty of drivers having nights to forget. Almost 50% of the field, you would suggest, has made an error at some stage. Just a very tricky track to get the power down. And now that it's dried out, those fears coming to fruition. It wasn't as bad in the wet when I look at it.
Does anyone know what the full pit delta is here? Zika has a 20-second gap over Jordan Wong, and I would say we should expect him in this lap.
There we go.
Here's him. Where's he going to come out?
Seconds to Zachary Smith. Yeah, I'm not sure how long the pit delta is, but I thought I've said before it was around about that mid-20 mark, so it's just going to filter into around about Zachary Smith territory there. So as you said, Tom Malone, it's been flying after that earlier spin, as Kyle Jackson has a crack around the outside here. That's a nice move. He's got a lot of work to do to try and finish that off as they come down the straight here. But they were side by side as they came out of the final chicane there, so it looks like he's finished that off, Kyle Jackson. Nice move.
Chu's gotten out in P2 with still a very big gap back to Nathan Monks in P3. So if he can get those softs up and running very quickly, he's probably in with the chance of gaining that 2.5 seconds to Jordan Wong.
Yeah, right, so that double's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was. It's not a good 20. So he's still in P2, that's good.
So a double race win here could be on for Zico Chu.
I thought it might take a handful of rounds to catch back up to Zachary Smith, but this might be just the round the doctor ordered for Zico Chu.
Ferrari doubles here. P4, P5. Nando in the Red Bull wants a piece of them as well. Right flag in 62, looks like Mohammed Irfan's had a moment. Kyle Jackson has got past Kenneth. Zico Chu's going to try and eat into that 2.5 seconds out front. Two Haas boys here in P11 and P12. Not too bad from Jared Ellis. I'm pretty sure he started a fair way down the grid.
He would have started close to last, given his issues in the last race.
Yeah, so to be P11, he's up 7 positions. Jeremy Washington's up 11. So those two having great races so far. 3 laps to go.
Jordan Wong and Zico Chu have handled the reverse grid really well too. So they're very deserving of their 1 and 2 at the moment. Zico is closing that gap, and as you said, Jacob, he's looking to get P1 back.
Mohammed Irfan's DNF'd.
Sector 1, 2 and 3 yellow generally means safety car, does it not?
BSC, I believe. Mohammed Irfan's DNF'd in pit lane.
Oh,
no.
That's a death.
How has Mitch not lost his front wheels there?
I don't know how he hasn't lost any wing at all.
Absolutely murdered Jaden Chia and not received any damage whatsoever.
What?
He's driven through Jaden Chia.
Okay.
BSC ended.
Yeah, meanwhile, that's fine. We'll just get the VSC off.
Has damage been turned off this race?
Well, clearly hasn't been turned off because Jaden Chia had his nose plastered all over his face, so it's definitely damage on for Jaden Chia. Selective damage. Goodness me. Kyle Jackson challenging Nathan Monks here.
See Kai only 1.3 seconds behind Jordan now.
Yeah, critically found 7 tenths on the last lap, Kai. So if you can find another 7 tenths, he gets inside DRS for that last lap.
Get close enough. Cole Jackson's closes right up on Nathan Monks. Want a piece of that podium.
The totally awesome fans out there will be hoping Nathan can hang on here for the last 2 laps.
Unless he can get outside of DRS range, I would expect he's going to get eaten alive down the main straight. If not before then, unfortunately. DRS is very powerful down that main straight.
Yeah, you can see Kyle just pulling up behind Nathan here, just using the slipstream to come through 130R.
Yellow
Get the
flag
braking.
2.
He gets the braking right and the chicane right here. And they pull this whole train along. And we've seen a couple of cars go through. And unfortunately, Nathan Monk's unable to defend here with no DRS and hardly any battery left. So he's going to have a crack at trying to hang it around the outside of turn 1 and 2. Unfortunately, not quite enough legs left in that McLaren. So Kyle Jackson moves up into P3. Totally awesome. We'll have to content with P4. He's still got work to do. Kenneth Ang, Zachary Smith, both sniffing around behind as well.
Poor old Daniel Lambert's going very, very slowly. Nando's had a moment as well.
He was in that battle for P4, was Nando, so he's got a last lap spin there that sends him back through the field. to the hairpin for the final time.
I think Zekai just settled for P2.
Yeah, 8/10 back. I don't think he's going to make that up between now and the end of the lap. Jordan Wong's been very quick all night.
Yeah, he looked good in the wet. He looks good here in the dry. He's done very nicely tonight, Jordan Wong.
Can Nathan Monks hold off Kenneth here for P4? Jeremy Washington from the back of the grid, currently in P7.
Yeah, Jeremy be Codemaster's driver of the day and probably ours as well, but this man is a race winner for race 2. Jordan Wong comes home and takes the checkered flag here in Tier 1. Zekai Chu content with P2. He'll be pretty happy with that. Fair distance back to Zachary Smith in P6, so another nice bag of points for Zekai. Kyle Jackson grabs another podium for himself. Totally awesome. Is very pleased to hang on to P4 from Kenneth Ang, who challenged him late in that one. Jeremy Washington, as we said, had an amazing race, up 12 positions into P7. Mr. Consistent, Caleb van der Reyden again inside the top 10. And Jared Ellis and Danny Wong, the two Haas fellas, rounding out the top 10. Nando is going to crawl across the line here in a very sick-looking Red Bull and finish in I want to say 14.
That's a puncture.
Lambert's got a puncher. No wonder he's all over. He must have had a puncher 2 laps ago because he's been putting up yellow flags for the last couple of laps.
That tyre is hanging on the very skinniest of margins. What is going on there, Daniel Lambert? It's got no front nose. It looks like the floor's damaged. The tyres. What is that tyre doing? He's not even on the wheel.
Can he finish in the next 1 minute 52?
Yes.
I don't know.
That's a big call. That's a big call.
He's coming around the back of Spoon now, so you hope that he could. He's just got to keep it going straight. He will.
Go flat through 130R, son. Do it.
Hamilton cosplay. Nice work from you, Zen.
So he's driven that on a puncher for the last 2 laps.
No,
Tom Maloney, you called it. You said he wasn't going to make it home. You were right. Sad night for Daniel Lambert, as we said, after putting it on pole. And we thought, here we go, Daniel Lambert on tonight. Jeremy Washington, driver of the day, well and truly deserved. After that race 2, coming from the back of the field and finishing inside the top 10. But Jordan Wong is your winner. The AlphaTauri driver will come out and accept the trophy here in Suzuka with a airy-fairy bit of a dance there. Once again, 3 different constructors up on the podium. You'll love to see it. From P9, Jordan Wong, and from P10, Zekai Chu. They did the reverse grid really nicely, came and finished in 1-2, and Kyle Jackson followed them through nicely as well, coming from P8 to finish in P3. So that's your podium. Nathan Monks, Kenneth Ang, Zachary Smith, Jeremy Washington, Caleb van der Reyden, Jared Ellis, and Danny Wong. The top 10. Couple of really sad stories back towards the back of the grid there. Mitch Weatherburn grabbing the purple lap with almost a 130 flat. And another night of Tier 1 content brought to you by Octane Online Racing. Fellas, what do you think of that?
Well, race 2 was definitely a lot more spicier, wasn't it? Provided us with a lot of action.
Content is a very, very apt description there, JC.
Yeah, very good race 2. Plenty of drama. And the drama continues next week in Singapore, October the 2nd, round 10. We are into the second half of the season. And as I said, very good chance that we are bringing you Tier 3, Tier 2, and Tier 1 next week. And if it's anything like Singapore last season, you'll want to be there. You'll want to catch it. It's going to be a really good watch. So until we get around to that, thank you to, as I said, Neil Alexander for jumping into the chair and holding on to the camera angles for this race after doing his race in Tier 2. So that's a big effort from him. Thank you to you, Jacob Weatherburn and Tom Maloney.
Pleasure as always, mate. Can't wait for next week at Singapore.
Yep, bring it on. Thanks, everyone, for having us again.
Thank you to you, chat. Of course, always best on ground. Coming and joining us here for Tier 1. Just a short, sharp burst of Octane Online Racing tonight, but we're back with a full schedule next Sunday night. We will see you then.